this course for neurosurgeons. I think this is a special day, not only for me, not only for our institution, but for all Ukrainian neurosurgical community, because we have this special guest, the special lecturer, Professor Salim Abdulrauf, who is the president of Walter Dandy Neurosurgical Society and the chairman of Neurosurgery Department of St. Louis University in the United States of America. Now I would like to recall those days when I was the young resident and we studied close to here in the Neurosurgery Department of our postgraduate academy, and we listened to the lectures of legendary people, Professor Pedachenko Sr., Assistant Professor Dunaevsky, and they told us and they taught us that the neurosurgical brotherhood does exist. And they explained that don't be ashamed to ask help from your colleague. Help your colleague. If even you have some problems in another city, you may come to neurosurgical department and ask and find your colleague, your neurosurgeon, and ask for help. Because you study together, you know each other, and you have to help each other. And I think that now we have a good example of neurosurgical brotherhood, because Professor, if you have a look at the Walter Dandy Neurosurgical Society website, you will see that the main goal of this society is improving patient outcomes worldwide. So I would like now to say that when we help each other, when we cooperate, we win, and eventually our patients win. When we compete, we lose. And now I would like to pass a word to our director of Ramadan Neurosurgery Institute, Professor Pedachenko, the second vice president of WFS, World Federation of Neurosurgical Societies, to say a greeting word to all of us.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues. Really, we are proud to have such possibility, great possibility here in our institute of listening from around the world, prominent neurosurgeons, his lectures in the different topics in our specialty. So now we are in our institute, and it seems to me that in Ukraine and there are changes of the generations. When the young neurosurgeons come, they are good educated, they really know foreign language and so on, and of course it is in our future. So we try to do as we can for the progress in our specialty. We invited the really great neurosurgeons all over the world here in Institute, that we have a possibility to contact with our colleagues. Professor Abdulrauf is a president of the Walter Dandy Neurosurgical Society. He knows because Walter Dandy is one of the neurosurgical, as we say, this is one of the girls of our neurosurgery. So, once more, we say warm words for the Professor Raoult for his coming here, that he taken our invitation to be here, and thank you very much. So, I ask you
Thank you. It is my honor to be here in Ukraine. It is my honor to be in Ukraine for the first time. It is a great honor to be at this historic institute of neurosurgery. Especially like to thank Professor Pedachenko and Buchowski for this kind invitation at their institute. It is great to meet colleagues around the world. I think the words that the professor said about brotherhood really mean a lot to me personally. I believe all of us in neurosurgery, no matter where in the world we are. We have the same upbringing, hard work, tough residency, tough training, taking care of very sick patients. So we're very connected in many ways, no matter where we come from. So I believe in creating relationships with my colleagues around the world. We help each other, we teach each other. I believe in this concept, and by doing so, we will improve the outcomes of our patients, no matter where in the world they happen to be. That's our bigger calling. And I think by working together in all these areas, we can only help to improve the lives of people that we take care of. So it is my great honor to be here. And today I will share with you some of my thoughts about microsurgery in the various aspects, and we'll have time to engage each other in the evolution in neurosurgery that we are seeing today. I changed the order a little bit, but it's the same topics, and I'm going to start with supracellular tumors as the first topic of the morning, and then we'll go from there. I'd like to talk about supracellular tumors and the strategic thinking on how to approach them. You have an excellent department here in endoscopic surgery for cellular tumors, and as they get bigger, they get a little supracellular, retrochiasmatic. This is a purely retrochiasmatic, infrachiasmatic tumor, and as this grows, it may enter the third ventricle or may stay below it, or you have the tumor that's purely inside the third ventricle and it's retrochiasmatic. Each one of these tumors really, from a strategic standpoint, has to be handled differently. A purely midline tumor that is extra-axial can be handled endoscopically, even retrochiasmatic tumors. And from a microsurgical standpoint, you know, a tumor like this becomes more difficult because it's all retrochiasmatic. There's very little space to work with, especially if the optic nerves are very short. If the optic nerves are long and the chiasm is postfixed, the tumor is most likely to grow in this direction, which makes it easier from a microsurgical standpoint. If you have a prefixed chiasm, and the optic nerves are very short, then the tumor will grow retrochiasmatically and likely to enter more the third ventricle, which is more technically more challenging. So some of these things can be figured out on MRI. I want to share with you some of my surgical opinions about this. First, I'd like to talk to you about a tumor that is with long optic nerves, where the tumor is going superiorly between the optic nerves and coming through here. So the first example is a tumor that's between the two optic nerves, postfixed chiasm, long optic nerves. We're coming in from the left side. We can turn down the lights in the room, I think it will be helpful. We're coming in from the left side. This is the left frontal lobe, left temporal lobe. We open the sylvian fissure. The principles that I operate with, I do not use brain contractors for the surgeries I'm going to show you. These are all elective operations, obviously. So coming in on the left side, this is the optic nerve. This patient has a petroclival meningioma with bilateral optic nerve compression. Once I see the optic nerve, it's very important for me to see the carotid artery. In this case, the tumor is wrapping the internal carotid artery. Well, then you have two options. One, you can keep resecting tumor, but you're worried when you're going to hit the carotid artery. Well, that's not very good. The first thing you want to do is expose the carotid artery. Find out where it is. Make it safer. Don't avoid the structures you're worried about. Go find them early. You see what I did here? I opened right through the tumor, right to the carotid artery. Now this is a lot safer to operate on because we know where the optic nerve is, we know where the carotid artery is. Now I feel more comfortable continuing the surgery because I know where the critical structures are. If you leave the carotid dead and you're working with the fossa or something here, You can hit the carotid because you don't know where it is. So avoiding structures you're worried about, not smart. Next, I move the microscope to the right side. This is the left optic nerve, right optic nerve. Instead of pulling on the frontal lobe, I would open the arachnoid first, because if you pull on the frontal lobe, the optic nerve is already stretched, you could pull on the optic nerve. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to open the arachnoid layer on top of the optic nerve before I mobilize the frontal lobe, so that the nerve is not stretched any more than it needs to. Same principle applies here. Where is the carotid artery on the right side? We have to know where it is. Right away, I go down, I'm going to open, I'm going to find the carotid artery. Once I find the carotid artery, we are safe. We are not worried anymore. You see, that's a carotid artery right there. So, left carotid, right carotid, left optic nerve, right optic nerve. This is the situation we find ourselves into. Now we are working in a safe plane because we know where everything is, okay? And we are just operating, okay? And we don't need hundreds of instruments. As you see, it's micro scissors, suction, mostly, and then a little bipolar. That's it. I mean, there's nothing really, highly complex that's needed in this kind of situation. Understanding the anatomy and the surgical technique is more important than any technology in the world. Okay? So that's the first example. Let's look at the second example, where the optic nerves are very short. There's no space between the two optic nerves. What are we going to do now? Let me show you a situation where we are coming in again from the left side, left frontal lobe, left temporal lobe, sylvian fissure. The optic nerves are very, very short. There's no space. So I'm working lateral to the optic nerve, optic chiasm, and I'm going to work lateral to the carotid. There's no space to work between the two optic nerves, so you have to move lateral. Okay? Again, no retractor, frontal lobe, temporal lobe. I'm going to open this area so I can work in this space, and I can work in this space. You see, this is the posterior communicating artery, anterior choroidal arteries. Do not work in this area. Very dangerous, obviously. So I'm going to work in front of the posterior communicating artery, right there. This is a tumor that's been operated twice endoscopically and radiated. Now recurrence with visual compromise. So we are going in microsurgical. Okay? So you see now, this is a carotid artery, basilar artery. Tumor, retrochiasmatic, infrachiasmatic. This is what I say is the more difficult scenario. Okay? This tumor is attached back here, which makes it more difficult. So we are now mobilizing that tumor. Okay? So in the posterior fossa, this is the membrane of Lillquist. Okay? So we're going to separate. I always use the arachnoid planes. Arachnoid planes are our best friend. Using the arachnoid planes is the best way to dissect. And as you see, few things I've showed you so far. I don't like retractors, and I like sharp dissection. I do not like blunt dissection. Sharp dissection is the safest type of dissection. Okay? And you know where you cut it. Basilar artery, anterior inferior cerebellar artery on the right side. Okay? So we're just looking at that plane. We keep dissecting here. You see, this is all that recurrent craniopharyngioma. Okay? We are now removing the tumor. All right? See, all we're using is a suction, dissector, microscissors. Okay? That's the whole operation. Okay? Bipolar, when we coagulate. For the residents in the room, what is this structure here? For the residents in the room, what is this structure here? What's that? The pituitary stalk. That's exactly right. So what you're seeing after we remove the tumor, you have a pituitary stalk. I remove the capsule of the stalk. I do not cut the stalk in craniopharyngiomas. If you cut the stalk, these patients forever, the rest of their life are dependent on medications and hormones, they become very fat. It's a very difficult thing to deal with. So the idea is to dissect the capsule, leave the stalk. They will get diabetes insipidus for a few days after surgery, for a week or so. But after that, they come off the medications. So I do not cut the stalk, I dissect the capsule. All right? So that's a dissection of the capsule of the pituitary stalk. Okay? So that's how we do that. All right? So that's showing you the resection of the capsule. This is after the resection. No space between the two optic nerves. Optic nerve, this is chiasm. We worked here, we worked here. You see, this is all chiasm stretch. Okay? That's his pituitary stalk. You see, no retractors, no injury. Nice, soft brain. We're not injuring the brain by retraction. Okay? So this is a technique I prefer, but nothing is dogma. You do what you feel comfortable with. All right? We'll show you another example of using this same approach. Coming in again from the left side, this tumor right here, okay? This is a tumor right there, all right? So we're coming in, left frontal lobe, left temporal lobe. I want you to observe here. You see, you have to look right away and make an observation. In the first case I showed you, there was tumor, there was an optic nerve, and the tumor was wrapping the carotid. This situation is different, and every situation is different. In this situation, that's a tumor, that's the internal carotid artery. You have to know this right up front. You do not see the optic nerve, and you have to know where the optic nerve is before you do anything. Okay? So, as we look more, you will see now how we make the observation. This tumor is compressing the optic nerve, but compressing it that way. So every scenario is different. The principles are the same. Principles are the same, scenarios are different. So here, I observe, great, I have the carotid artery, so I know where it is. Okay, I'm happy. And as long as I know where the optic nerve is, then I can decompress the tumor. Okay? So principle the same, scenario different in every case. And that's what we have to be, we have to stick with. Always stick to the principles, which is optic nerve, carotid artery, we're working in between, and that goes along. You see, we have no retractor, we're not pulling the optic nerve, and working in this corner to decompress the tumor. Okay, the residence. Let me ask you a question. This tumor, this lesion here, how would you operate on this? What do the residents think? How would you approach this lesion? Any options? What do you think? Well, maybe the professors can give me the names of the residents, so I call them their name. What do you think, guys? Anybody?
Maybe coronal.
Coronal?
Yeah.
I don't know if we have coronal. There it is, yeah.
Transcallosum.
Transcallosal, one option. Okay, what else?
Transventricular.
Trans what?
Transventricular. Ventricular.
Ventricular, okay. Anything else? Any other options? I want you to really observe this lesion. You see, you have to be very careful when you're looking at a lesion like this. Look at this image right here. You see this right here? This should really concern you. Okay? This should really concern you. This is a giant aneurysm, partially thrombosed. Okay? So you have to be very, very careful when you see something like that. And you see it's rounded high up. You do not rush in with a surgical procedure until you know what you're doing. Okay? So observation, understanding. Let's turn the lights down low if we can. And maybe if we can drop those curtains, I don't know, over there because of the light. So this is this big aneurysm. We have to open it because it's so large. Yes, thank you. So large. And if we can turn off these top lights. Good, perfect. So in an aneurysm like this, that big, with massive fat, we use a CUSA inside the aneurysm to decompress the aneurysm because you can't, it's a highly thrombosed structure, and we have to. I'm using this case mostly for the residents to really observe what you're looking at and be very careful before you rush into something. Okay, these are the kind of things that come disasters in the OR, and you have to be very careful. So next, how do we dissect the capsule of the contralateral optic nerve? So we're coming in from the right side. This is the right side approach, transsylvian, left optic nerve, left carotid artery. Okay? So that's the optic nerve, carotid artery. This is the capsule of the tumor. Sharp dissection. You see how I'm dissecting, preserving every vessel, every little vessel to preserve when you're working around the optic nerve and the chiasm. You cannot take risk on these arteries. So what you're doing is very sharp dissection right on top of the capsule. And you're dissecting the tumor, okay? So you will have to be very confident that you are cutting the arachnoid and you're preserving all these vessels. Very, very important in this kind of dissection, okay? So this is the optic nerve, carotid artery, distal dural ring, okay? This is going to be the diaphragma cella, so the pituitary will be sitting below us here, okay? So we're working on the medial. The cochlea will be on this side. The cochlea and the vestibule, in between them lies the internal artery canal, the sandwich in between. Superior semicircular canal, lateral semicircular canal, posterior semicircular canal. I said the relationship is between the lateral canal and the seventh nerve. The seventh nerve will go like this, GSPN. Seventh nerve will go around, go just below the lateral canal to go down to the mastoid frame. Relationship of the lateral canal to the seventh nerve. So we look at an axial cut of the internal artery canal. We will find it's between the cochlea and the labrum, the vestibule. Seventh nerve will go like this, GSPN, and then it turns this way below the lateral canal to go straight down into the mastoid frame. The other relationship I want you to remember, that the GSPN is directly related to the petrous carotid artery. GSPN will sit on top of the petrous internal carotid artery. Okay, so just keep track of all these relationships, all right? Closer view, GSPN, internal carotid artery. Lateral canal, facial nerve. So, when you look from above, foramen valley, foramen spinosum, okay? Petrous apex, okay? That's the valley, V3. V2 will go this way, and V1 will go this way, okay? Petrous apex. We saw the fifth nerve will be sitting right here, okay? This is a depression for the Gasserian ganglia right here. Then you have a little elevation where the IAC is going to be. A little elevation. Okay? And then you have this other elevation, depression, elevation. Another relationship. This elevation is the arcuate which is directly related to the superior semicircular canal. Another relationship. Keep track. Okay, so these are all relationships that you have to remember. Okay. Let's go back. Right side, a lateral view. V1, V2, V3. We said the petrous carotid and GSPN are directly related. Very good. I want to remind you about this triangle that I will tell you more about. Depression for the Gasserian ganglia. Elevation, meaning the internal artery canal is going to be here. Depression, elevation, arcuate eminence. That means the superior semicircular canal is going to be just below you. Thin bone, tegment. If you drill this bone, you can get a CSF leak, and this is very thin bone, so you have to get it careful. Okay? So these are the landmarks, some of the things that I want you to think about. The next thing I want you to think about of the letter Y. The external ear canal sits right here. One lip goes this way, one. So imagine this. Internal carotid artery, IAC, external canal. That's a big view I want you to have when you look at the middle fossa. Let's remove all the bone. Internal artery canal. I said the internal artery canal sits between the cochlea and the vestibule on the lateral. Standing in between. Facial nerve. GSPN. GSPN related to the carotid. Facial nerve. Turn around. Below the lateral canal, it goes straight down. Into external artery canal. Eardrum. External artery canal, Y shape. Internal artery canal, carotid artery. Okay? Mastoid air cells. Sigmoid sinus. To expose the petrous carotid artery, I take you back into that triangular area, V3, middle meningeal artery, GSPN. So we open this bone right here to expose the petrous carotid artery. Okay? If you can remember this, you know a lot. Okay? Once more. IAC, carotid artery, external canal, middle ear canal, malleus, superior canal, arcuate eminence will be sitting above this. Lateral canal, facial nerve will go below it. Internal artery canal is wide here, narrow here. Deep here, superficial here. These two things are important. So internal artery canal is not running like this, it's running like that. So the petrous apex is here. Up here, the facial nerve is very superficial. So if you start to open the canal, you drill here, you can very quickly enter the facial nerve and injure the facial nerve. So the safer thing is to drill here, drill down until you see the dura because it's very wide. You find the internal artery canal, then you go this way. You do not want to start here and go this way because the injury to the facial nerve, the risk is too high here. You very quickly can. Sometimes the facial nerve is just right at this below the bone. You don't want to drill there. You want to drill here where it's very safe and it's very wide. Okay. Facial nerve, GSPN, facial nerve, lateral canal, below the lateral canal, middle ear cavity, malleus, stapes. Eustachian tube, middle meningeal artery, eardrum, external canal, wide. Okay? Just, if you remember this picture, I think we achieved everything for today. I mean, it's This picture is really complicated, but if you understand it, you know a lot. If we drill that whole petrous apex, we'll see the whole brainstem. This is a surgical view. Now in the OR, this is how you're looking. Right side, the patient's nose is up here, top of the head is here, back of the head is here. The patient's lying like this, and you're looking from here. External ear canal will be here, okay? Here. So wide, boom, boom. External auditory canal, carotid artery. See, middle artery. Based on the anatomy I showed you, this is totally safe. There is nothing here. You can drill this here. We call that anterior petrosectomy, and you have all this space into the posterior fossa. There's nothing here. That gives you additional access. If you know the anatomy, it's very easy. If you don't know the anatomy, then it's not easy, because then you were worried every second. Okay? If you want to open the external artery canal, the internal artery canal, we drill right there. As I said, we start here and move this way. And this is for a surgical view. 7 nerve, GSPN, 7 nerve, turns around, below the lateral canal, mastoid cells. Y shape, boom, boom, boom. See that? If you have that three-dimensional view, it makes it easy. Okay? And that's what I want you to have. Remember, I'm going to show you all this from here, then I'm going to show it to you from here. So if you have your relationships, you will never be confused. If you don't know your relationships, when I show it to you from the posterior fossa, it will become very difficult for you. So you need to keep the relationships intact in your head. So how do I use this surgically? This is a case on cavernoma of the midbrain. I'm going to go there through anterior petrosectomy. How am I going to do that? Patient's laying down laterally, coming in like this. This is all extradural, below the middle fossa, below the temporal lobe, okay? D3, petrous apex. Okay? This is totally safe. There's nothing here. Okay? Why? Safe. I use a drilling right there. Okay? Under the microscope. Now, as a neurosurgeon, you should be doing this drilling, not ENT. It takes you 10, 15 minutes to do this drilling. ENT will take 5 hours. Okay, for them, this is the biggest procedure of the year. For us, this is just the start of the surgery. Okay? So, if you know the anatomy, you're a lot better at doing this than ENT. See, now we open the dura, we open the dentorium, fourth nerve, no retractors, boom, we're at the midbrain. No huge surgery to go to the midbrain. It's like that much, we're right there. Okay? See that yellowish discoloration of the cavernoma in the midbrain? Let's talk about vocabulary so we all agree on the terminology as we keep going here this morning. What I just showed you was coming this way, drill the bone at the petrous apex here to enter at the area midbrain. That's called anterior petrosectomy. That's traditional subtemporal approach, but adding the drilling of the bone. A standard retrosigmoid approach comes like this. In skull-base, we use all these pre-sigmoid approaches, meaning in front of the sigmoid sinus. The first one is the retrolabyrinthine approach, meaning we come in, we remove all this bone, but keep the semicircular canals of the labyrinth intact. No effect on hearing. So go like this, like this, like this, and we drill this. This is called the posterior petrosal approach. Okay? If we drill the labyrinth, remove the semicircular canals, that becomes a translabyrinthine approach. If we drill the cochlea and remove all of this, then that is the total vitrectomy or the transcochlear approach. Then we cut the dura, the tentorium, and we have a lot more access. Next, we're going to talk about the internal carotid artery. When you're doing a transfemoral operation, and God forbid something bad happens, you get a carotid artery injury, and you get arterial blood. This can happen. Okay, I've heard about this. Where does the carotid get injured if you're doing transfemoral operation? And that happens. Is it A, B, C, or D?
B and C.
B, C, and D. So let's say, how many people say A?
No.
How many people say B?
A. And
Okay,
C.
so A, we have, lift your arms. I want to see. One,
A and C.
A and C.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, you only get to pick one. Okay? A. How many C's will be B? 1. How many people say C? 2. How many people say D? No D taken. So A is the most common answer. Okay? We are now I'm going to go through an exercise that I'm going to explain to you the internal carotid artery. We're going to go back to that and we will vote again. And it is my bet that all of you will get the right answer. It was across the board. If you don't, then I failed you. Okay? So the internal carotid artery, as you know, in the literature, people have labeled it C1, C2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then somebody else came in and said, no, C1, C2, C3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know what those numbers mean. Most neurosurgeons don't know what those numbers mean. Anytime we are writing a paper, we look it up and say, okay, this is 1, 2. For academic purposes, it has no clinical value. So 2 years ago, I told my team we need to come up with a system that is clinically useful for neurosurgeons. Not academic numbers, but actual system that is clinically useful. So we will show you the system. Don't worry about the color pictures. This is published already, so you have to look it up under my name and PubMed, and you'll get all these pictures. But I want you to listen so you understand the system. A system that will help you understand the surgical approach. Okay? So we decided we're going to come up each segment with a name that has a neurosurgical implication. Each name has a neurosurgical implication. That's how we want to remember this carotid artery. So this is a view of the right carotid artery from the side. Okay? So the cervical carotid artery is going to be below us, and this is where the carotid artery enters the temporal bone down here. This segment of the carotid we rarely ever see. Okay? Even I, who does skull-based surgery all the time, maybe twice a year, we will expose this segment. It's very, very rare. What is the implication of this segment from a surgical perspective? One single thing. The cochlea sits right here. The only way you're going to get to this segment, the only way, if you drill the cochlea, it's going to be in front of it. Well, we drill the cochlea very rarely. It's a very few indication. So I'll show you. So we call this a cochlear segment. This is a cochlear internal carotid artery. Okay? Each blue ring identifies the transition from each segment to the next. Each blue ring is an atomic landmark. Okay. This ring is the eustachian tube. Eustachian tube runs right here. Then you go to horizontal. We did not change this name because it already has a name. It's called the Peters carotid. We'll leave that name. You remember from the previous association that the GSPN sits right here, and that the middle meningeal artery is about right here, and that V3 is right about here. That's I want you to remember that. Then you have this segment that goes straight up. Well, why? What's straight? What's sitting? We have it right here. The fifth nerve, V1, V2, V3. We call this the Gasserian segment because of the fifth nerve. But it's not just that. If you are a microsurgeon, you're operating from here. If you're an endoscopic surgeon, you have this and you have the carotid on the other side here. What does that imply to an endoscopic surgeon? This carotids on either side identify the lateral wall of the clivus. So it's the Gasserian-clival carotid. Gasserian-clival carotid. What is the transition point from the Peters to the Gasserian-clival carotid? Well, there are two. One for microsurgery, one for endoscopic surgery. For microsurgery, this is a petrolingual ligament. For endoscopic surgery, the Vidian canal sits right here. So the transition happens at the level of the Vidian canal. Okay. Then you have this loop that loops like this. What sits right here? The pituitary gland. This loop touches the pituitary gland. We call this the cellular segment. What is this ring? This ring identifies the meningeal hypophyseal trunk that comes off the carotid artery right here at the level of the tentorium. And it's the artery that supplies the outer meningiomas here. Loops right here. Then suddenly the carotid goes out more wide. It's not like this, then it turns wide. Why is it turning wide? What sits right here? Sphenoid sinus. The sphenoid sinus is pushing the carotid more lateral. This is the sphenoidal carotid. Next is the proximal dural ring. This is the distal dural ring. The two rings on top of each other. Proximal ring is the site of the third cranial nerve, oculomotor nerve. Distal ring, beyond it is the CSF space. We call this the cisternal segment. Looking anteriorly, cochlear segment. Cochlear sits right here. Eustachian tube, Peters segment, petrolingual ligament, Vidian canal coming straight at us here. Gasserian-clival carotid. Cellular carotid. The pituitary sits right here. Sphenoid carotid. Sphenoid sinus sits right here. Ring. So you'll see this picture in the publication under my name, and all the names are there. Okay? So you can look this up. I hope this will be a very useful system for you to use. But I'll go into more detail here with you. Let's start with the cervical carotid. We know it well. It's a well-known area. We did not get into its classification, so it's well-known. The only time I operate on it is one of two things: carotid endarterectomy or bypass. So this is the external carotid artery bypass to the radial artery being attached to the external carotid artery. Okay, that's the only time I deal with it. Next, let's talk about the cochlear carotid. Cochlear carotid. I said the cochlear sits here. I'm going to explain to you how we're going to get there. Okay? And we're going to take you through an exercise of explaining how you get to this segment. so you can understand. This is a view from below of the right side. The nose is up front, the back of the head is here, the right ear is here. So this is the right side from below. Internal cervical carotid artery, beginning of the cochlear carotid artery, internal jugular vein. Eustachian tube will be running deep from there to here, and we'll show you that in a minute. B3, B2. Okay, this is our anatomic view. This is a lateral view on the right side. This is the cervical, the feet are here, top of the head is here, nose, back of the head. Cervical carotid, cochlear carotid. Eustachian tube, petrous carotid. Cervical carotid, cochlear carotid. Cervical carotid, cochlear carotid. Get lost, stop me before you go to the next step. Otherwise, you will not benefit. Okay. Canal. Doesn't matter where you come from. Relationship is the same. Doesn't matter what angle. So that means I can drill here and not worry about the facial nerve. That's why I'll drill the superior cervical canal first, because there's no risk to the facial nerve. That's why these relationships are important. Let me drill. Okay. Next, I drill the posterior canal. Again, I'm not worried about the facial nerve because I know the facial nerve is going to be here. Because I know the relationship. Superior canal, posterior canal, endolymphatic sac. Next, I remove the lateral canal and I find the facial nerve under the microscope because I know the facial canal is going to be below the lateral canal. Facial canal. Superior canal is gone, posterior canal is gone, lateral canal is gone. I keep drilling. Sigmoid sinus. Now, as I keep drilling, I'm hitting the area of the internal auditory canal. You see, I showed you the internal auditory canal from above. We saw its relationship to the carotid, to the external canal. But now I want you to turn yourself 3D to see how you'd be looking at it from behind. Relationships will stay exactly the same. Remember, the relationships will not change. It's just your view is changing. All right? What's going to happen here, that internal auditory canal is going to be running like this. That means when you're looking from the side, you will have the facial nerve, cochlear nerve, then superior vestibular, inferior vestibular. You just have to look at it from the side. Internal auditory canal. Exposing the internal auditory canal. Exposing the internal auditory canal. Internal auditory canal. You see now we're opening the internal auditory canal. Remember before we came from above and we drilled this to find the internal auditory canal from above. Now we're doing it from the side. Removing the bulb. Now we're getting into the neurochir. Remember before we came in from above and we opened the canal from above? Now we're looking at it from the side. Facial nerve, GSPN, means the petrous carotid is going to be there. Turns around, below the lateral canal, facial nerve, mastoid hair cells come down here. Now we open the door. This is a translabyrinthine approach, what I'm showing you so far. You open the dura acoustic tumor, okay? That's the relationship. Translabyrinthine approach. The cochlea is up here. We haven't done anything to the cochlea. Now, if we want to drill the cochlea and the patient already has hearing loss and facial nerve weakness, to get in front of the brainstem, we will now open in front of the facial nerve to get inside the middle ear cavity. Malleus. Okay? I do this maybe twice a year. Very rare. Okay? I'm showing it to you for anatomic purposes, not for surgical, things. This is purely for anatomy. Middle ear cavity, oval window, round window, eustachian tube, okay? That's a cochlea, okay? Behind us now. And when we were looking from above, the cochlea was this way, I see this way. But from this approach, the cochlea is very deep, okay? The outline of the cochlear carotid. Now we drill to mobilize the facial nerve. Facial nerve has been mobilized from the facial canal. GSPN is cut, so we can mobilize the facial nerve posteriorly. Moving the facial nerve. See, the facial nerve sits back here, cochlea. We drill the cochlea, cochlear carotid. So it takes a long time to get to the cochlear carotid. It's very rare for us to do it, but that's a segment I'm making and naming as a cochlear carotid, because that's the only association that's important to that segment. Okay? That way you remember the anatomy. That's a view. It's the best view ever you will have of the whole brainstem. That's a big undertaking. Surgical view of the cochlear carotid. I have drilled the cochlea. This is the cochlear carotid here. Okay? Right there. The whole cochlea has been removed. It's very, very deep. Very deep. Okay? You have to remove the whole labyrinth before you can get there. Alright? But this is showing you a surgical drilling, showing the cochlear carotid. Okay? And that's what the carotid looks like. Okay. Another case. This patient has a giant fusiform vertebral basilar aneurysm. Not a curable disease. It's not curable by microsurgery. It's not curable by endovascular techniques. The problem in this patient, young patient, very large basilar, mid-basilar, whole aneurysm compressing with the brainstem, progressively becoming weak in his lower extremities to the point he ended up with a tracheostomy in the ICU. Massive aneurysm, brainstem completely compressed. I was forced now, because it's mass effect, I'm going to decrease the mass effect, but I cannot cure the aneurysm. Okay? There's no way I can cure this aneurysm. So what I did in this case is to decrease the size of the aneurysm so we can take the compression off. We're coming in from the left side. Transcochlear approach. He already lost his hearing. He already had facial nerve problem. Transcochlear approach to get in front of the whole aneurysm. So the ear is here. This was the labyrinth, the cochlea. I removed it, so this is a cochlear carotid, and this is all aneurysm here. See, that's a cochlear carotid. You see that? Sure. Big approach right in front of the whole midbrain, pons, and medulla. What am I doing here? Shrinking the aneurysm. See, it was huge. Now already I decreased it by this size. That's all I can do here. I cannot do anything. You see the shrinking? This patient, amazingly, is still alive. It took him 3 months to get better, but he got better. Tracheostomy came out. He's able to walk with assistance. So we took the compression off, but it's a fatal disease. We cannot cure it. So far, we talked about the cochlear carotid. We showed you we came from here. We drilled labyrinth. We exposed the facial nerve. We drilled the cochlea. Boom. We find the cochlear carotid. So that's the cochlear carotid. Done. Now let's go up this way and look at the petrous carotid. Cochlear carotid, petrous carotid. Lateral view. Surgical view. B3, B2, B1. GSPN, petrous carotid, middle meningeal artery. This is an important area surgically that I will show you in a minute. When we drilled the IAC from above, we drilled from here and went that way. And just I showed you from the posterior fossa a minute ago. Cochlear carotid, eustachian tube, petrous carotid. Cochlear carotid, eustachian tube, petrous carotid, middle artery. This was the first publication for neurosurgery to understand the relationship of the eustachian tube to the carotid artery. All the publications from ENT world discusses the eustachian tube down here in the nasopharynx. But based on this publication, we understood the intimate relationship of the eustachian tube to this portion of the middle fossa to this carotid artery, so that when we were doing the skill-based approaches, when we get a CSF leak, we were getting into the eustachian tube without appreciating it. So now what we're doing, when we're exposing the petrous carotid, we no longer drill here, we actually drill here. Okay? Because it's a very intimate relationship to the junction between the cochlear and the petrous carotid of the eustachian tube. Essentially, it's touching the carotid artery in that region. Okay? So now we have gotten smarter about the CSF leak issue in these kind of procedures. Close view, eustachian tube, petrous carotid. Okay? You see the relationship? Middle meningeal artery, B3. B3, carotid artery, middle meningeal artery. So when I'm exposing the petrous carotid, this is where we want to drill. Middle meningeal artery, eustachian tube, petrous carotid, cochlear carotid. V3, petrous carotid. In this case, we are exposing a larger segment of the petrous carotid right there. Okay? That's the petrous carotid. In this operation, I'm exposing a larger segment because we're using this for bypass surgery. I'll show you that a little later. So usually you only expose a little bit for proximal control, but in this case, I'm exposing a lot more because I need a long segment. This is exposure of the petrous carotid in the middle fossa. Let me tell you why we expose the petrous carotid and when we need it. So this is a case, cochlear carotid, petrous carotid, okay? The Syrian clavicle carotid. The eustachian tube sits right here. This is a case of an aneurysm that was a grade 1 subarachnoid hemorrhage that was clipped in California, and then it had a recurrence where he bled from it. Okay? So he was sent to me because this was kind of a difficult situation because it was below the anterior climber. I'm showing it to you. See, you have to have proximal control of the carotid artery for an aneurysm like this because this is going to be a bad situation. I do not open the neck. I get proximal control in the middle fossa. That way I avoid an incision in the neck. Unless the patient has had previous surgery in this area, I usually get the proximal control in the middle fossa through the same incision, through the craniotomy incision, rather than opening the neck. And it's your preference. I'm just showing it to you for anatomic reasons. See, this is the aneurysm here. We're going to expose the petrous carotid here for proximal control.
To expose the internal carotid artery, the petrous segment, in the middle fossa, extradurally, there are a number of landmarks that are important to recognize. First, to recognize a D3 extradurally, that's that blue line. Next, the carotid artery in the petrous segment runs essentially at 90 degrees to that landmark. The third landmark is the middle meningeal artery forming this triangle. The drilling then takes place right in this region, at this limb, to expose the ICA. In some percentage of cases, the bone is dehiscent and drilling is not required, but this red circle shows the area of the drilling for the exposure of the ICA. The next step would be then to place a balloon in the carotid canal that then would be inflated. It would be saline filled balloon, and that would then provide proximal control.
So B3, we're drilling to Peter's carotid. You see, all you need is a very small opening. That's a carotid artery. We put this catheter in, and then if you need proximal control, it's a saline-filled balloon. You just inflate the balloon, it pushes the carotid artery like this. It occludes it, okay? So that's proximal control of the carotid artery. Great. So that's anatomy. We came in this way. We drilled this bone right here to find the carotid artery. Again, let's look at our anatomy again. So we talked about the IAC. We talked about the Y structure, external canal, internal canal, carotid artery. Internal artery canal, facial nerve, cochlear nerve, superior vestibular, inferior vestibular. Facial nerve turns this way, below the lateral canal to go down. Then we showed you for the cochlear carotid, we came in this way. We drilled the superior canal, posterior canal, lateral canal. We were looking that way. Then we kept drilling until we found the IAC. We opened it. We looked at the facial nerve. Then we, for the cochlear approach, we came in this way, and we drilled the cochlea. We were coming that way in the last approach. Let's go to the next segment. So far we looked at the cochlear carotid, we looked at the eustachian tube, we looked at the petrous carotid. For the cochlear carotid, we said is a transcochlear approach. Petrous carotid is for proximal control, and now we're coming to this level here. We're coming from the petrous carotid to the Gasserian clival carotid. We'll see two structures that identify the landmark. One is the petrolingual ligament. The other is Vidian canal for endoscopic surgeons. It's at the level of the Vidian canal that the carotid turns 90 degrees up. Petrous carotid, Vidian canal, Gasserian clival carotid. Petrous carotid, Gasserian clival carotid. Petrous carotid, petrolingual ligament, Gasserian clival carotid. Coronal view, vertebral artery, basilar artery. Pons, medulla. Lower cranial nerves, hypoglossal. Vidian canal. That means, without seeing it, that the petrous carotid is going to be at that level. It's not going to be down here. You see, now you know the petrous carotid is going to be right there because you see the Vidian canal. What that means for an endoscopic surgeon, that above the Vidian canal you cannot go lateral because you're going to have carotid. But below the Vidian canal you can go more lateral. That system allows you to understand that relationship. What is this thing here? What's that?
Six.
Sixth nerve, exactly. Sixth nerve comes low, come up, superior orbital fissure. It's the only nerve that is very deep and it actually touches the carotid in the mid-posterior clival section of the carotid artery. So the sixth nerve would be found at the level of the posterior clival carotid, touching it just about its mid portion right here. Okay. The sixth nerve will be right about here. Fifth nerve is sitting right here. Clivus is sitting right here. Vidian canal, Vidian canal. Petrous carotid, I just showed you the drilling here to put a balloon outside to get proximal control. Cochlea, cochlear carotid. Next segment, stellar carotid. You see why I call it the stellar carotid? It's touching the pituitary gland. You see, this is the Gasserian clival carotid. The meningeal branch here that comes out, then stellar carotid touching the pituitary. This is where, if you're doing transfemoral surgery, you get out lateral, you get an injury to the carotid artery. You have to look at the axial CT scan or CTA cut of the sella anytime you're doing a transfemoral, microsurgical, or endoscopic surgery. Because sometimes this carotid artery can come like this, and this will come like this. That should be a contraindication for endoscopic entry into the sella. If this carotid turns like this and this, because you're going to get into it. So the axial cut of that area, you should look for the stellar carotid. Okay. Petrous carotid, Gasserian clival carotid, sixth nerve, stellar carotid, sphenoid carotid, sphenoidal carotid, sphenoidal carotid right there. Okay. Then you come to the proximal rim. Why does it go like this? Because you have a sphenoid sinus sitting here. It pushes the carotid out laterally. We're looking at the left carotid from the right side in a sagittal view. Okay? So, sella, clivus. This is the Gasserian clival carotid. What is this? Which segment of the carotid? Sphenoidal carotid. This is all sphenoid sinus. That's exactly right. The stellar carotid is behind us. It is going to go around behind it the other way, touching the pituitary on the other side. Sphenoidal carotid, because it's coming out this way. Optic nerve. That means that proximal distal dual rings are going to be right here. What is this? This is kind of not an easy question, but what is this?
V2.
V2. See, that's very good. You see, this is a Gasserian clival carotid. That means the fifth nerve is sitting right behind it. So V1, V2, and V3 will be going down that way. Very good. When you look endoscopically, inside the sphenoid sinus, this is the septum. Now you know at 10 o'clock and at 2 o'clock, that's a sphenoidal carotid. Now you know those are the sphenoidal carotids right there. Okay. Looking with an endoscope, Gasserian clival carotid, stellar carotid, sphenoidal carotid. What sits lateral to the Gasserian clival carotid? The fifth nerve, V2, V1. People say A. How many people say B? How many people say C? B. So this is the cochlear carotid, Petrous carotid, Gasserian clival carotid, stellar carotid. The pituitary sits right here. Sphenoidal carotid. So it has to be this segment that touches the pituitary carotid. Okay? I think it's time to take a break now. Is that right? 10:35? How many minutes? Good, so let me finish this case. So let me go back. Now we're going to get into this external carotid, which is this portion here, okay? You see this aneurysm right here, compressing the optic nerve quite a bit. Right there, okay? So coming in from the right side, right optic nerve, anterior clinoid, anterior carotid, internal carotid artery. That's the nerve right there. So this is anterior clinoid area. I'm going to bipolar all the way like this. Reflect the dura posteriorly. Drill the anterior clinoid process. Because there is heat generated with the drill, always irrigate a lot when you are doing the drilling. Means a lot of irrigation around the optic nerve. Opening the distal dural ring. Aneurysm, optic nerve. This patient essentially is blind in this optic nerve here, and the aneurysm is extending towards the other, towards the chiasm. This is the aneurysm here. The back of the aneurysm. I'm opening the arachnoid. This is the dorsum cella. The basilar artery is sitting here. I want to make sure, because I'm going to put a big clip, that the pituitary stalk and the basilar artery not close to me when I'm clipping like this, okay? Because it's a big aneurysm. You see, that's the pituitary stalk right there. So I want to make sure that that does not get incorporated in the clipping of this aneurysm. Stalk, basilar artery. The things you're worried about, see them. Do not put your head in the sand, okay? Always look, make sure where they are before you do anything. So now I'm putting a clip on the neck of this is a carotid artery, I'm putting a clip on the neck of this aneurysm. Long clip. Clip is closing on the neck of the aneurysm. Clip is slipping out. The aneurysm got too much turgor. Keep slipping, slipping, slipping out. Don't force it. If you try to force that, now you're going to tear that aneurysm. Now, I'll show you what I will do to make this more clippable. Okay? If you keep forcing an aneurysm, that clip is not closing, you're going to tear it. Too much pressure inside the aneurysm. I'm going to shrink down this aneurysm to change its configuration so it is more clippable. Okay? See how I'm decreasing the size of the aneurysm. See, this aneurysm was pushing on this optic nerve so much. Now I'm bringing it down, taking the pressure off and shrinking it downwards. Okay? See, I keep pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down. And see, this is optic nerve. I'm just bringing the aneurysm down and shrinking its size. This aneurysm is now less than 50% its size by just decompressing it down. See that? see how much of the aneurysm we have changed now into a different aneurysm. It's a different animal now than we started with. And part of the surgery is to decompress the optic nerve. The patient essentially had only light perception left in that nerve. Now we have taken the pressure off the optic nerve. Now we're going to clip, which is a different situation than when we tried before. Now you see the clip completely across the neck, and it's far easier to clip this aneurysm. Okay? We changed the aneurysm. Okay. I think I will stop here because it's the next topic, and then I will stop. 10 minutes full and rest. We have a lot to cover, and I don't want to take too much time. For gliomas and functional work for 2 decades. Because I do vascular skull base surgery, I felt that awake surgery may be more beneficial for vascular surgery than for glioma surgery. See, glioma surgery, you're sectioning, you don't know what the fibers are, but in vascular surgery, you are putting clips very direct, and if you could test functions, you know very specifically what could be the risks. So let me show you one of the first cases we did for aneurysm surgery, and why this is helpful. So this is a straightforward middle cerebral artery aneurysm with a wide neck. So let me this is my operating room.
Even though
On the beginning of the surgery, the patient is completely asleep, not moving in the right to but sedation. And then we take out the basic.
this is good. Show us how many hertz he has right now.
Sure, so generally expect to
All the monitoring.
fast frontal activity on the right, around 22, which is a good indication of his level of brain death, maybe like.
Later life. Okay, great, thank you.
I'm operating inside the sylvian fissure. Okay, this is the grade 1 subarachnoid hemorrhage. Okay, this is the aneurysm here. Okay, there's a perforator on top of it. So when you're working around the aneurysm, it's very important for me to see behind the aneurysm. You're not going to clip an aneurysm where you cannot see behind it. You see, this is the aneurysm. This is M2 division. There's another M2. So there's one division this way, one this way. M1 is down here. Okay? Wide neck, small aneurysm. As you know, we do not use retractors. I don't use retractors in any of these operations. You see, I have to see this to clip this aneurysm. Okay? Very important. See, I'm looking all around this aneurysm before we do any clipping. What a time to clip with M1.
Excellent.
And the patient is okay squeezing his hand.
There's no move anything right now.
Okay? So I'm going to shrink the aneurysm. Because this is a ruptured aneurysm, I want to put a temporary clip before I manipulate the aneurysm. Okay? This is real time. Okay? So you will see what happens here while the temporary clip is on. He cannot squeeze. He cannot squeeze his hand. He's talking to me, but cannot squeeze his hand. Quickly, I remove the temporary clip. The minute I remove the temporary clip is okay. I decide to clip the aneurysm without the temporary clip because he's squeezing very well, no problem now, and now I clip the aneurysm. And that's, we like to do ICG angiogram during surgery, check everything, everything is open, nice, M1, M2, okay? In that case, if the patient was not awake, we would not have known. No change in EEG, SFCP, everything is normal. So if the patient was under general anesthesia, we would have left the clip there, still working. That's where the problem comes. So this is why I believe that this advance, I'll show you more here, how it could be helpful. Let's show you another case. This is a ruptured grade 2 aneurysm that is very proximal. The problem with this aneurysm is that it's embedded inside the anterior clinoid. This would be best case to treat with a stent and a coil, because it's a very wide neck to put a stent in the vascular coil because the aneurysm is embedded inside the bone. So because it's a ruptured aneurysm, you cannot put a stent because you have to anticoagulate with Plavix. And we don't do that for ruptured aneurysm. So they tried to coil this aneurysm, could not do it, very wide neck. So they called me up and they said, listen, we cannot coil this, it's a ruptured aneurysm. So I decided, okay, we'll do surgery. What's the problem in this case? This is a view from above, anterior clinoid. The aneurysm is all underneath the clinoid here. So the aneurysm is growing inside the clinoid. So it's kind of a, tough situation, all right? For this, we're going to have to occlude the carotid to dissect the aneurysm.
So the patient is very comfortable while we're doing the craniotomy. And the next opening, she's asleep, she's elucidating, she's not feeling anything. So come around and EEG. Okay, Tom, tell us what you're doing in EEG.
Continuous symmetrical and spectral EEG ranges from about 12, we have occasionally 17 hertz in some channels, but most overall it's 12.
So around 12 hertz. Okay.
So in this case, we have to control the carotid. This patient, I didn't do the petrosal carotid exposure, which she had previous ENT operation. So I open the neck.
Either we do the common and the external. In that case,
Because it's a weight case, we block the Gasserian ganglia for pain control during surgery. Now, we start with drilling the anterior clinoid. So you see, this aneurysm is embedded here, so we have to drill all the anterior clinoid to get to the aneurysm. Left frontal lobe, left temporal lobe, Sylvian fissure. You see, I'm drilling the anterior clinoid, the aneurysm is eroded inside the bone here. So this is the drilling with the aneurysm at the aneurysm dome here. Okay? So that's the aneurysm poking through. Opening the distal dural ring. Optic nerve. carotid artery. The carotid artery aneurysm sphenoidal carotid artery. Opening the rings. Optic nerve, carotid artery, cisternal carotid artery. Ring carotid artery, sphenoidal carotid artery. Okay. See, this is where the two rings meet. See, cisternal carotid artery, ring carotid artery, sphenoidal, see, right there, aneurysm. Okay. Need more access. This aneurysm is going to sphenoidal carotid artery, okay, here. So I have to drill in front of the aneurysm to get the neck. Practice drilling in the lab, not on the patient in the surgery. First, drill in the lab, be very comfortable, because this is very risky drilling. It's on the dome of the aneurysm, okay? You have to learn this very well in the lab before you do this kind of drilling, okay? So this is the drilling of the bone. Now we're ready to occlude the carotid artery in the neck. Now we bring the patient out. Carotid occluded.
Squeeze my hand again. Good.
Squeezing, doing very well. Great, carotid occluded. What does this mean? This means I can be very relaxed. She's doing fine with the carotid occluded, no rush, oh, I don't know how many minutes I have. No, relax. We have time to work. She's carotid occluded, she's talking to me, she's moving everything. We have time. It's no work. Okay? So it changes the operation. Now I am working on the aneurysm, shrinking it. Okay? We have time. We are working with it. Okay? She's squeezing. She's doing great. Opening more of the proximal ring because the aneurysm extends into the capillars, into the sphenoidal carotid down here. So I have to, this is cavernous sinus bleeding you're seeing now, okay? Because the ring of the proximal ring is going all the way down here, okay? So I'm opening the whole proximal ring. Now I'm ready to put clip. Clip, this clip tip is inside the cavernous sinus, okay? Now we're closing the clip. Squeezing, doing great. While I'm closing the clip, I'm very happy. Okay? With the second clip, make sure the whole aneurysm is occluded. Perfect.
Okay. One more time. Squeeze tight, tight. Good. Let go. Perfect.
Your aneurysm is in here. All pure, okay? Now you get to sleep while we're in the portrait.
So tell the patient now we're going to have you sleep because we do the closure, your aneurysm is taken care of. Okay? One more case is a complex situation. I want to show you how this technique changes everything. So let me show you this case here.
For 12 months,
This is an aneurysm.
given the complexity of this dome of the aneurysm.
We're looking from behind. This is posterior view. This lady in her 40s was sent to me with this odd aneurysm. Look at what's happening. Basilar artery, SCA, SCA. PCA coming from the dome of the aneurysm here. This is not a saccular or buried aneurysm. This is a fusiform aneurysm of the distal basilar artery. I said, there's nothing, if you clip this, PCA, big M part, if you put coils in here, you will occlude the PCAs. No way you could put stent. There's no way. I said, let's watch this. The aneurysm increased in size in 6 months. Now I have no choice but to do something. The question is, what can we do? There's no way we can clip this aneurysm here because of this. This is a big PCA P1, but this is a smaller P1 on this side. If we can sacrifice this P1, we could do clipping like this. But how do we know we can sacrifice this P1? That's the question. Okay? So let's
As
see.
well as both sphere cerebellar arteries. Into a decision point regarding treatment. In this left carotid injection, we see a dominant PCOM supplying.
So on the left carotid injection, luckily, there's a big PCOM to P2. After P1, we want to sacrifice. Okay?
The PCA,
On
while
the
in the
right
right
side,
carotid injection,
clearly
the
there's no
P1
big
is dominant. So conceptually, we felt if we were able to sacrifice the left P1 its origin if tolerated, then we can get behind the aneurysm and reconstruct it. This is a posterior view,
So this is
a
looking from
3D
behind.
diagram of the aneurysm. Here's a
That's
vascular
our
artery. Here is the right P1.
PCA. Dominant P1.
Here is the right SCA.
Перезвоните через пару часов, пожалуйста.
Here is the left P1. And here is the left SCA. Our plan is to temporarily occlude the left P1 and see if the patient tolerates that. And if we occlude the left P1, and if the patient were to tolerate that, then we would have a reconstruction model for the aneurysm itself that would be along these lines here.
This is the plan. So plan is to come from the right side, look at the left P1, temporary occlusion test of the left P1. If the patient tolerates temporary occlusion, we sacrifice the P1, then we will flip reconstruct this way. It's the only way. Okay.
This is the third
Right
cranial
side.
nerve here.
Right temporal lobe, right frontal lobe, transsylvian approach, third
This
nerve,
is the diaphragmacella here.
diaphragmacella, right internal carotid artery,
This is the area
Right optic nerve.
of the posterior clinoid.
posterior
Right
clinoid,
dorsum
dorsum cella. The aneurysm is going to be sitting here.
The basilar artery will be behind us here, and we expect the aneurysm to be in this location behind us here. In this specific case, to access the basilar proximal to the aneurysm, we have to drill the dorsum cella and the posterior clinoid. In this case, we are transsylvian. As you see, my suction is just left dorsum cella and the posterior clinoid. The drill is there to drill the posterior clinoid and the dorsum cella. And it's done in a fashion where it stays inside between the leaflets of the dura. As you see here, just lateral to me here, you see the third cranial nerve. And we do not mobilize the third cranial nerve to do these steps. And as you see here, we are continuing to drill, and now you're starting to see the proximal basilar artery.
The drilling of the dorsum celli and the posterior plane.
Our first step at this point is to expose the left P1. As you see, we're seeing the bottom part of the aneurysm here, and that's the left third nerve on the left side of your screen. I'm putting a temporary clip on the basilar artery at this point. I'm talking to the patient while we're doing this, and as I close the clip, she's conscious, she's moving her extremities and following commands. At this point,
Important to note here, you see, when we do temporary clipping of the basilar artery, there is no test, there is no monitoring that tells you what's going on. Some people can tolerate 10, 15 minutes, some people cannot tolerate 30 seconds. We don't know what's going on with the patient. What this allows me to do is the patient tolerating the temporary clipping. So this is a big change from the standard of dealing with the basilar artery. And just from a historical perspective, this was the first time in our history that we, in a awake patient, we put a temporary clip on a basilar artery and test the patient. Okay, so that's
coagulate the aneurysm so I can expose the left P1. You see the left P1 coming in our view as I mobilize the aneurysm anteriorly. You see behind the aneurysm are very critical perforators that put.
For the students and residents in the room, these tiny vessels are the most important small vessels in the human body. The occlude posterior thalamal perforators, these are the patients who never wake up. Okay? There's no messing around here. This is serious business here. Okay? So when you clip an aneurysm like this, you have to be seeing these arteries. And you gotta be 100% sure that you haven't incorporated any of these vessels in your clip.
Here, thalamal perforators, which are critical to look at and to identify before any clip is placed. At this point, we have the proximal P1 in our site. Now, the next step is to place a clip across the proximal P1. You see the clip, you see the third nerve just behind us there, and the clip is placed. Next, we will test the patient. This is a critical part of the procedure. We will do 10 minutes of P1 occlusion, test motor exam. All right, now while you're...
She's quick though.
You see the left P1.
You know, get back to sleep. So do something for you, Sam. Squeeze my hand real tight. Perfect. Squeeze tight. There you go. Let go.
10 minutes, she's
All right, now
quick.
move your toes, Tom. Move your toes, Tom. Can you move your toes for me? Can you move your toes? Yeah, there. Good job. Okay, over here. Everything's going fine. Just stay away from me, okay?
With the patient having passed the occlusion test, we put permanent clips across the proximal P1, and as you see here, using micro scissors, I'm cutting across the P1. Obviously, a very critical step in this case to proceed with the operation. The second and final step is to cross the P1, occlude it, and then on the right.
That's her post-op day number 6 to remove her staples. Okay? And that's her a few months later in clinic. She's doing great. So without a wake, this would have been an almost impossible case to do. Okay? This is what the awake thing is adding for us. So as we look at the data in the United States for clipping of unruptured aneurysms, this was just published in the journal of Neurosurgery. So this is the large meta-analyses of large regions of the United States in academic centers, clipping of unruptured aneurysms. This is our 30 patients perspective awake, first 30 patients. Length of stay after clipping of unruptured aneurysm, median, 7.4 days, 8 to 9, 10 days. In ours was 3 days. discharged to a facility, not home, meaning they didn't go home, but they went to rehabilitation or nursing home, up to 16%, 17%, 3% in the awake. Stroke risk, 7%, 14% for clipping unruptured aneurysms. In the awake was 3%. Modified Rankin scale, functional outcome, 2 on 1 means you are totally independent. No data available for the large regions, but for us was 1, fully independent. Mortality in the awake cases was 0, and the mortality across the board is very low. Less than 1%, 1 or 2% mortality for this. So this was the first evidence that this kind of work will probably affect outcome of patients. So this is the next advance in microsurgery, into doing this stuff with this added ability to test the patient during surgery. The next thing is that I want to share with you is the concept of simulation of surgery the day before. Okay. Look at this patient who has 4 aneurysms. Okay. 2 on the carotid artery here. Let's look at aneurysm 1. The patient has a carotid artery aneurysm. We're going to be coming this way. It's behind it. So we 3D print the patient's arteries, the actual patient's arteries, with a 3D printer. So this is a patient's carotid exactly to the micromillimeter. Everything is exactly the patient. I will look at this under the microscope and look at the whole idea of how this aneurysm is going to be and how we could look at the configuration, because we cannot rotate this in the OR. So this is how I have to see it. I'm looking at it. Next, we thought, why not 3D print the patient's brain, vessels, and the skull base? Exact print of the patient's brain. And then simulate the surgery on the patient's actual 3D printed brain. So this is what we're doing. You see, transciliary approach, temporal lobe, frontal lobe. Aneurysm is behind us, but now I can know the size of the clip, the encircling clip. Remember, on this brain, every sulcus, every gyrus is exactly of this patient's brain. Okay? So, by doing a 3D print of the brain and then start looking at it the day before surgery, offers us a chance to try to feel everything and to train the residents on the surgery before they will do the surgery the next day. So this is the exact replica of the patient's brain. Okay? So you see, I'm clipping that aneurysm on the 3D printed. Now the next day, the actual surgery, you see exact same anatomy. Carotid artery. The aneurysm is behind this. I know the size of the clip because I measured it on the day before. Now I know, although I don't see the aneurysm, I know exactly where it is. I know how I close the clip, completely occluding the aneurysm. Okay? So that's what we're doing in my department now as a research project. Right. So the second aneurysm is a small aneurysm on the next to the anterior clinoid. 3D print simulation, next day in surgery, same exact. Clip size and everything else. The patient has his basilar apex aneurysm right here. Okay? So, it's between SCA and BCA. Alright? Fine. So, I will simulate. You see, SCA, BCA, basilar artery, the angle. The aneurysm is sitting right here. I know the angle at which I'm going to be approaching this aneurysm. Okay. Next day, exact same thing. SCA, basilar artery, BCA, aneurysm, same angle, same trajectory. I know the length of the clip. I now feel comfortable what's behind the aneurysm because I saw it the day before. Aneurysm 4 is a blister aneurysm, and I simulated it, and now it's an aneurysm with a basilar artery, same trajectory. Okay? So, we feel this technology will be of help in addition to the other things I'm showing you. So we are now putting together a randomized prospective trial. 100 patients. 50 patients will be randomized to an arm where they're going to have the standard clipping of the aneurysm. Another 50 patients will be randomized to have a simulation with a 3D printed brain, their own brain, the day before, and then have clipping. The same surgical team is just randomized to either arm. To show that this is not just fun, but actually affects outcome, is what would change the standard of care. So you have to have a trial showing that this is not just fun we're doing the day before, but actually affects outcome. That's when it affects the standard of care, when other people will see that this is effective. You know, the problem is, we were talking about this over tea break, you know, the funding. You see, this trial is going to cost us $500,000. So we just put a proposal together for the United States Air Force to fund this trial, because the U.S. Air Force is very interested in simulation. Okay? They're very interested in technology and simulation. So if they approve it, we're proceeding with this trial. These are very expensive things to do. And as I talk to my colleagues around the world, as I travel, it is one of the biggest limitations you, my colleagues, have all over the world. You do not have the funding to do the things that you think you need to research and you need to randomize and do. This is a big, big problem all over the world. Okay? If you look at the budget of countries, even third world countries, they have these massive budgets for their military defense. If they only cut their budget by 1%, you'd have hundreds of millions of dollars for us to do this work. But nobody will ever do this. Okay? Same thing in the United States. You know, we have, you know, billions of dollars for defense budget for the National Institute of Health, NIH, which funds everything. They keep cutting the budget every year. We were able to fund a lot more stuff 10 years ago than we are able to fund today. So it's just the concept, the priorities that our societies have around the world. It shocks me, actually. It shocks me that it would make zero difference to these countries, to their defense, if they cut their defense budget by 1%. It would affect their security by zero. But this is the reality of the world we live in today. Every country in the world, same problems. But this is how our governments are, and this is how they think. But this is, you know, the issues we deal with. So that's the concept of awake surgery for aneurysms, the simulation for surgery, the future, what we believe. Now, the simulation surgery is not just for outcome of patients, mind you. It is for training of the residents. You see, if you as a surgeon the day before, if you're doing a tumor operation in the brain or the spinal cord, or you're doing an AVM in the brain or spinal cord, you sit with your team, you simulate under the microscope. The teaching and the learning that comes with that, you cannot do that in any other model. So in the future, I believe, 3D printing will be a big part of how we train and how we prepare for surgeries. This technology is evolving. I'm working with two of the big companies in the United States who do 3D printing. We're working very closely with them. We're getting to the point we're simulating even the texture of the brain to be exactly like a real brain. The texture of the vessels to become exactly like a real vessel. So we're evolving this technology to a point it's going to become very realistic looking. Not exactly realistic right now. Everything is realistic. The size, the cell size, the gyri is realistic today. But as we keep working in this, we're going to make even the touch of every cranial nerve, every vessel to be exactly like the human touch. That is what we need for our patients so that we have better outcomes, but that's also what we need for training our residents and young surgeons to train the day before doing surgery. Okay? So I hope this is a concept that we will keep on working on. I have a great team in my department. You know, people working with this. I have engineers. I have, this is not just neurosurgeons. When you're doing this kind of work, you gotta tap into the minds of the people at your university from other fields. For too long in medicine, we are very close-minded. We only want to work with doctors. No, we need to have other people who are good to help us understand. So when you develop a technology like this, you got to work with other people, and that's how you evolve this stuff. Okay. Next, we're going to move to brain AVMs, and hopefully we'll have time to also, I want to talk about spinal cord AVMs as well. Okay. The concept of AVM surgery is based on principles that I will share with you. As I told you earlier, whether I'm doing a skull-based operation or I'm doing an aneurysm surgery, sharp dissection is your best friend. Blunt dissection is dangerous. Okay? So what you will see here, I'm sharply opening the cell side around this AVM. Very sharp. Sharp is safe. If you try to pull, you can tear these veins. Okay? So you have to be able to dissect sharply. You see I'm occluding a vein to see the tertiary in the AVM. Feel very comfortable. Don't be scared of AVMs, because if you're scared, you're going to have a hard time doing this kind of surgery. You see, we're opening a plane around this AVM, and I'll tell you what the strategy is here. You're working in an eloquent area of the brain. I don't believe that you should go into this brain. I'm going to open on one side, I'm going to shrink the AVM so I have space to work and I don't mess with the normal brain. Okay? It's a little different strategy than my teacher, Professor Yashville, the way he described AVM surgery. Okay? So you see, I have opened this side and now I'm going to keep pushing. I push on the AVM, I do not push on the brain. Okay? I mobilize the AVM, I do not mobilize the brain. Right? So what I'm doing is mobilizing the whole AVM here. You see, I've mobilized this AVM and I've already gotten underneath it already. Okay? This side is still untouched. So now I'm mobilizing the whole AVM. See, I'm mobilizing the AVM and coming around it this way. You see? So the whole AVM is being mobilized this way. You see how I can pull on the AVM with my bipolar, but I'm careful about the surrounding normal brain. I will not get into that. I will stay messing with the AVM. Okay? That's what I'm going to be doing. And that's how we get to it. Another case, cerebellar, high up cerebellar AVM. Okay? Same technique applies. Okay? You see, this is a tentorium is above us. I'm shrinking the, you see how I shrunk the whole AVM? Right there. Okay. Not messing with the brain at all. Just shrinking the whole AVM down. I'll show you one more case. You could see what's coming here. If we could do awake aneurysm surgery, why not awake AVM surgery? We're going to test the vessels I'm not sure about before we take them. Okay? So let me show you a case here. So this is a young woman with an AVM in the motor strip of the brain that had bled once before. Okay? So you see this is the AVM, MCA supply. Okay? And lenticular strip. This is the part I worry about. That comes deep. You have to be careful you take the right vessel. If you occlude a normal lenticular stride, you'll have a stroke. So let's look at this AVM. Motor strip right here. In the motor strip, right there, precentral AVM. Right? We have to be very careful. This patient is intact, but has had one hemorrhage. All right? So let's see how we're going to deal with this situation. Middle frontal gyrus posteriorly, precentral gyrus right here. That's why I'm testing them every time I get deep in the AVM. I'm going to be testing what's going on. You see, squeeze the hand, wiggle the toes because we're dealing with the Nicholas striates, all right? Now I'm okay. I can occlude and cut this artery, all right? This allows me safety, reversible steps. That's what's so important here, which we would not have otherwise. Okay? You see, I'm immobilizing the AVM, shrinking it down. I'm not messing with the brain around me. I'm just messing with the AVM itself. Okay? I'm holding this vein, see if there is turgor in the AVM. And this is now the last of the AVM here, cutting the last vein and artery. The whole AVM is gone, okay? That's her. She was sent home 2 days after surgery because she was never under general anesthesia. You do the surgery, she's fine. You get a CT scan of the head, there's no bleeding, nothing. You were never under general anesthesia, so you're not, So this is going to change the way we look at this more, okay? Show you a case that I would have never done when I was doing this under general anesthesia. Okay? This is a young guy. I grew up with him because when I finished my fellowship at Yale, he was one of the first patients I saw. He was about 13 years old. He had this grade 5 AVM draining deep into the vein of Galen. And I told his mother, it's best to leave this alone. We do not want to mess with this AVM. This is not, But about a year and a half ago, as I started doing the awake kickstand, he had a rupture from this AVM. Was admitted to the ICU. Had swelling of the brain. Had a ventriculostomy. Ultimately, he recovered, started waking up. Now we're in a situation, and a young guy who had a bad bleed from an AVM, that we have to do something. So let me show you what we did.
What's your favorite kind of music? Well, I like AC/DC and a little bit of Blunts of Fall and a little bit of rock music. Dr. Ragu here likes ABBA. He likes Nancy Queen too. And he likes the Police from the 70s. What do you say about that? It's crazy. Don't think about that. He's operating with you. Don't be kidding, man. Upset, okay? He's a pretty cool guy. Yeah, he's a cool guy. They're all cool guys, man. Check out my vision part. What's that?
He's asking about his vision because we're testing his vision. Anytime there are arteries coming over the PCA, we're not sure about coming to that septal area. We're testing them with his vision before we take them. Okay? So that's the strategy in a case like this.
Your vision is okay so far.
You see, I'm having bleeding here. You cannot let the patient know. You have to stay calm, keep working, and keep talking.
For the years that you and I have been watching this, this is not a simple AVM, and I don't want to take any chances, but it started acting up quite bad recently, and I thought, wasn't wrong, we take care of it for you. Because when you recently just got admitted to the ICU, you have a lot of
Enjoy now speaking to the patient makes me feel more comfortable than having
we
this
just
work.
can't take any more chances with it. Right. So I'm so glad we're
This
just
is shrinking the large aneurysms from the AVM.
Like I said, in a long months here, you're a cool guy, and
That's shrinking.
he's got a lot of confidence in you, man.
See, this is all
I
the
think a
space
lot of
I've
people look up
created
to you.
by shrinking the AVM
That's
down.
what good, man.
All the space by shrinking the AVM.
Yeah, 7 years, man. A long time. I have my faith in you, bud. Thanks, Michael. No problem.
So that's him a week later for his staples, okay? So would not have felt comfortable doing this case before when I was doing a general anesthesia. So it's changing the way we look at these things. Bypass surgery, that I want to talk a little bit about spinal cord tumors and vascular malformations as well. Cerebral bypass surgery is a topic very close to my heart. It's an area that I've been involved with since the beginning, and I like to believe that I have contributed to it. For the young people in the room, the residents, you have to develop a relationship with the aneurysm or the AVM like this. If that's your aneurysm, that's the AVM, that's you. If you are really afraid while you're doing this surgery, something is not right. You have to be respectful of what you're dealing with. If you're really scared, you are not yet ready. You haven't had enough experience. You should not be alone doing that. Because that's somebody's mother or somebody's sister. You're sitting there doing this and you're scared. That is not right. Okay? So you have to get to a point where, and this is one of the things that I'm trying to change in the world with the Dengue Society, by changing the curriculum of training so people can really get better at what they do. And I'm trying to do this in a difficult environment in many places where traditional thought is very difficult to overcome. So there are two types of bypasses. There's what we call a low flow bypass and a high flow bypass. These are two very different things, and I just want to make sure conceptually I explain this. Low flow bypass is a different operation for different indications than high flow bypass. Low flow bypass was first performed by my mentor, Professor Yashiville, in the late 1960s in Zurich, Switzerland, the first procedure. The concept is you take one of the superficial arteries, usually the superficial temporal artery, do a craniotomy, and attach it to one of the surface vessels of the middle cerebral artery. It is done for ischemic disease of the brain. The best candidates for this surgery are the patients who have Moya disease. By Moya disease, they have chronic occlusive disease of the carotid artery. They're not getting enough blood to the brain. And by putting an artery like a superficial temporal artery, you augment flow. So low flow bypass is about flow augmentation. It's not flow replacement. It just augments a flow that already exists. And these patients are very ischemic. Their arterioles are maximally vasodilated. The arteries are maximally vasodilated. It is the reason we don't do a high flow bypass. If you do a high flow bypass on these patients, there'll be so much flow, and they're already maximally vasodilated, they'll bleed into their brain. So all we're doing is flow augmentation through a small vessel. And this is an example of this procedure. You find the vessel, the donor, you find the recipient. For me, this is a small procedure, okay? Because this is really, you see, all it is a 2-centimeter opening, because we find the donor or the recipient. This is the opening, okay? That's it. That's a bypass. Low flow bypass. High flow bypass is a different ballgame. It's a very big procedure. High flow bypass is not flow augmentation, it's flow replacement. During a high flow bypass, you will be occluding permanently a very big vessel, and you will be replacing it by another vessel. That's high flow bypass. Why would you be doing something that crazy? Well, you're going to be occluding a very large vessel that has a giant fusiform aneurysm. So you have to close it because it cannot be treated with something else. So if you're going to close a large vessel like the carotid artery, you have to replace it with a large vessel like the saphenous vein or the radial artery. So that's the concept of high flow bypass. Okay. Let me show you. This is a young kid staying in the low flow bypass. This was just about 2-3 months ago. Was sent to me from Qatar because he had Moya disease. You see his carotid artery ends here, and then he has these tiny vessels supplying his brain. He had 2 strokes already. Young kid, 10-year-old. So he was sent to me for a low flow bypass. We do an angiogram. He has no big STA. What he has is a middle meningeal artery. So you have to be innovative. What do? We use the middle meningeal artery because he has no big STA. See, this is the bone is open, middle meningeal artery. Middle meningeal artery, I cut on either side of the middle meningeal artery to use it. Middle meningeal artery to MCA bypass. Okay, that's an intraoperative angiogram. Okay, so you have to be very, innovative in these situations because every case is different. You can't, it's not cookie cutter model with everything fits in place. You have to be open to different scenarios every time you deal with them. Oh yeah, that's him before he left to Qatar. A week later after the surgery in my office. Okay, and his parents call me every week. They're calling me too much of it. All right, he's doing fine. High flow bypass. When you're dealing with an aneurysm this big on the carotid artery, remember cochlear carotid, petrous carotid, Viscerian clavicle carotid, sphenoidal carotid. You see, use the system in every case. This is sphenoidal ring cisternal segment carotid artery aneurysm. That's the system. What do you know from the system I showed you? You know the cochlea is here. You know the GSPN is here. Okay? You know the Vigian canal is here. You know the clivus is here. Just knowing the things I told you, you should now be able to, with those relationships, tell you where everything is. So I hope you will use it and stick with it. This is not an aneurysm you can clip. If you clip this aneurysm, you clip for slip and occlude the carotid artery. This is not an aneurysm you can coil. If you coil this aneurysm, you will occlude the carotid artery. You could potentially try to stent this artery, but we'll show you the results of coiling. Of bypass versus flow diverting stents. In this case, we're going to do a bypass from here to here, and then we're going to close off this whole carotid artery. We're going to use a graft. That's a graft right here. We occluded the whole carotid artery. Patient after surgery. It's a big operation. Radial artery, neck incision, head incision. Why are we willing to do an operation this big for an aneurysm like that? It has to do with math. If you have a small aneurysm, 7 millimeter, 8 millimeter aneurysm, the risk of bleeding per year may be 1% per year. When you have a giant aneurysm like this, it's not like this. The curve is like this. The day you're diagnosed with a giant aneurysm, the mortality at 5 years is 80%. So essentially, every young patient who has a giant aneurysm will die from that aneurysm. In neurosurgery, the highest mortality diseases besides trauma are a giant aneurysm in the brain and a GBM, glioblastoma multiforme. The difference being a GBM we cannot cure, a giant aneurysm we can cure in the right hands with experience. We can cure these patients so they don't have to die from that aneurysm. That's why we invent all these techniques and do all this crazy stuff, because these people will die. So you have to do big things to really help these patients. Okay? Let me show you how this bypass works. Essentially, you would open the Sylvian fissure, okay, which is, I'm showing you, every procedure I do that I've shown you so far, we will widely open the Sylvian fissure, okay? This is very good for everybody, it's good for the residents, and it's good for the surgery because you don't retract too much. This is the recipient branch here. Okay. Now, you go to the neck, you take a radial artery, we're attaching the radial artery to the external carotid artery in the neck. Okay? So that's what's happening through that neck incision. Anastomosis training has to happen in a lab, not in a human being. So I know some of the young guys here are establishing a lab for microanastomosis. I'm very proud of this, that they will be practicing in the lab and doing this stuff, okay? That this cannot be tried in the OR, okay? It needs a lot of training, a lot of comfort. See, that's a radial artery graft flowing from the neck, cervical carotid, okay? Now we're going to attach this to right here. We're attaching this right here in this M3 division of the MCA. That's the arteriotomy. We're opening the mouth here. And then we're going to attach this to that. The high flow bypass is a lot of finicky steps. It's you have to be careful of all little things, kinking, whatever. That's why it's a very different procedure. Okay. Here I'm injecting heparin inside the vessel to get rid of any clot. Any little clot will cause a big problem for you. Okay. So you have to get rid of everything. Okay. And get rid of that. And this kind of work has to be done in centers of excellence. So I hope here in Ukraine we'll have 1 or 2 centers that do all these cases so that you have a team experience and surgeon experience. If you dilute this out too much, you will just have too many complications from this kind of work. And this is something I'm emphasizing in many countries I'm going to really, this is how the future has to be. All right. So this is the anastomosis part. And then we run the stitch here. That's a running stitch like that. That's the graft. That's just another anastomosis deep in the sylvian fissure. Different techniques for different muscles, how you do it, and so forth. Again, these are the just various techniques. In this case, it's a very interesting case. I'm showing you that we can do these bypasses at various different places. This is very deep. This is in the ambient cistern, a bypass to the PCA. All right? And I'll show you why that is in a second. So this is a radial artery, PCA, midbrain, temporal lobe, and we're operating deep with very long instruments. Okay? Technique is the same. The principle is the same. You just have a different scenario. You just have to stick to it. So you see how we're doing all this here, this anastomosis. You see, that's anastomosis to the PCA. Right. Why are we doing this? It's for this reason. This patient had a coiled aneurysm, big aneurysm, basilar apex, that bled. He came to me. The problem is the PCA was coming from the aneurysm neck here, and there's no PCOM supplying this PCA. So I had to first create an artificial posterior, enlarge this graft radial artery to supply the PCA, and then clip this aneurysm. Because if I clip this aneurysm, this whole territory would be dead. So this technique is used for these situations where you have to recirculate the blood for different ways. So one of the things that I felt that these operations were so big, the question is, can we make them somewhat smaller? So the idea I had is that because I work in I do a lot of sculpting surgery, I would run into the internal maxillary artery in tumors. And in many patients, it's a pretty big vessel. So I thought, why not, through the middle fossa, bring the maxillary artery in, do a bypass that's shorter, Instead of going all the way in the neck to here, why not go from here to there and then occlude the carotid? The physics of bypass surgery, the shorter the graft, the higher the success rate, less thrombosis. So there's another benefit, besides the fact you're not picking and going a big incision in the neck. This is what the maxillary artery looks like. So this loop up on the maxillary artery is at the middle fossa floor. So if we can identify that and use that as the donor, we could do high flow bypass through just a cranial incision. We did a lot of work in the lab to expose the maxillary artery, okay? This is the extradural middle fossa maxillary artery, okay? We attach it there, we attach it to the middle cerebral artery, and that's a graft. This was the first case of using the internal maxillary artery to the MCA bypass, or a giant aneurysm, okay? So this is what the bypass looks like. You see another bypass. The whole aneurysm in the carotid is occluded, and this is a bypass. Another one. Big aneurysm here, the whole carotid is occluded, this is a bypass. So the difference being you go from here to there versus all the way down here in the neck to here. And you now need a smaller opening in the neck because the only opening you're doing is to occlude the carotid. You're not doing the big opening for the anastomosis. Bob Spessler, in his recent book, the Atlas for Bypass, he listed this procedure, the IMAX, as the Abdurrahman bypass. He named it such. I did not ask him to do that, but it's very kind of him. So, what is the big issue with high flow bypass? There are two steps that are the most dangerous steps in this operation. It has to do, you have a graft, you're going to attach it to the brain. Well, you're going to select a good sized vessel to attach it to. During the time the vessel is occluded, you're anastomosing, you don't know what's going on. Is this vessel tolerating occlusion very well because it is very good collateral? Or is this vessel not tolerating occlusion and the whole time you're taking could potentially cause a stroke? Secondly, after you put it in the bypass, now you're going to close off permanently somebody's carotid artery for the rest of their life. How do you know 100% that your bypass is carrying enough flow, there's no problems with it, everything is perfect, and you're going to close up the carotid artery? So this has been the problem historically in high flow bypass, 15 to 20% risk of stroke based on these two steps. So as you can imagine, I felt if I added the awake steps here, I could get rid of these two unknown variables. So let's watch this. Complex aneurysm involving the cellar, the sphenoid, the ring carotid, all these segments of the carotid artery. Okay? The patient presents with a pelvoplegia. Okay? Internal maxillary artery. That's a loop right there that we're going to use.
Very deep asleep at this point.
Sleep right now. Because we're doing the openings and the block, cervical block for the arm, radial arm.
What do you have as far
maxillary artery. This part the patient is asleep because the maxillary artery, ENT, occludes this all the time. It's not going to the brain. So you don't have to worry about this step. Now you see the flows coming through the maxillary artery to the radial artery. Now I'm going to attach this to the middle cerebral artery. Now I'm putting a temporary clip on this artery. I want to make sure she is tolerating this before I do the She's squeezing, she's doing fine. If she didn't tolerate it, I would pick another vessel that she tolerated. Now I do the anastomosis, and she's doing fine. I'm talking to her, we're doing fine, we're doing anastomosis. Okay? Again, same principles. No retractors, wide opening of the sylvian fissure. Same principles to everything we do. Okay? Just so you know, we stick to our principles. Once this bypass is in, once the bypass is in, 10 minutes we occlude the carotid artery. And sit and watch and have her squeeze do everything else. Okay? So what does this look like? This is a very simple operation. Okay? All you need to do where that level is, where the artery is coming in, you just disconnect it from the vein. That's pure. There's no need for crazy stuff or whatever embolization. This is the simplest operation there is in neurosurgery. Alright? All you need to do, see, I found the connection right here. Right there. You see, that's the vein. So the artery is connected here. All you need to do is just cut this. You're pure. Done. Okay? One of the simplest things you'll ever do. See, I'm putting a clip just to be in the safe side, check the the SSCP motor stuff. But that's it. You see cutting this? The patient is cured. Nothing like it. Okay? That's pure right there in minutes. I'm going to show you a case. There's one case of intra-axial tumor in a patient. Intra-axial, horrendous tumor came in with quadriparesis, coming to the ICU. Big tumor that somehow got missed, and this is the tumor here. See, the whole space is tumor. How large the spinal cord is? Where the tumor comes close to the surface, you see I'm cutting right here. Inside the tumor, I'm staying inside the tumor. This is very big. If you start working on block like this, you will completely paralyze this patient. Okay? You have to do internal debulking first to decompress it, then you work in the periphery. You cannot try to work all the way around. If you do that, you are done in a case like this. All right? I'm staying in the center of the tumor to decompress. Now I go to the periphery of the tumor. Because I decompressed it, I can sharply now dissect. This is an epidemoma, so we have to completely resect. Okay? You see how I'm now working at the edge of the tumor, and that's complete resection right there. Okay? Of the tumor. That's her. A few months later, she went on to do very well. Okay, so I want to talk about one more topic. We have just enough time. I want to talk about the mesial temporal lobe. This is a difficult topic that people struggle with. I want to talk to you about. All right. We're looking at the mesial temporal lobe, the right side. This is anterior, posterior, superior, inferior. This is the vallecula. The middle cerebral artery sits here. The uncus, okay? Infolded head of the hippocampus. The amygdala sits right here. Okay? This is the optic nerve, chiasm, optic tract. Lateral geniculate body. Choroidal fissure. Anterior choroidal artery comes in, goes on top of the uncus right here to go to the choroidal fissure right there. Okay? The fornix. Optic tract. Lateral geniculate body, the thalamus. Fornix. Dentate gyrus. Perihippocampal gyrus. Infolded head of the hippocampus, the uncus, the amygdala. If we do a coronal cut through the temporal horn, we will note that this is the uncus, the infolded head of the hippocampus, collateral sulcus, thalamus, okay, tail of the caudate, the roof of the temporal horn, choroid plexus. The anterior choroidal artery is going to be coming in here between the thalamus and the fornix to enter right here. We look from below. Optic nerves, chiasm, optic tract, uncus, amygdala, perihippocampal gyrus, collateral sulcus, midbrain. If we remove some of the brain, tells you why it's called the hippocampus or seahorse. Okay? This looks like a seahorse. Head of the hippocampus, dentate gyrus, fornix, temporal horn, temporal horn, okay, midbrain, thalamus above it. An atomic issue that you have to be aware of that affects our surgical trajectories is the following. If you do white matter dissections of the lateral surface of the brain, you will find the following. You have the white matter tracts coming in, and you have the tracts that are going backwards. This is where the temporal horn sits. So the optic radiation sits on top of the temporal horn. Okay? And the lateral part of the temporal horn is covered by the optic radiation. So if you come in through the temporal lobe and enter the temporal horn, by definition, you're cutting through optic radiation fibers. By definition, by physics, simple. Okay? There's no way you can go through somebody's temporal lobe and go to the temporal horn without going through optic radiation fibers. Right? So that's an important point. If you look from below, and this is the optic radiations here, so optic tract, lateral geniculate body, so the temporal horn sits right here. The roof and the lateral wall of the temporal horn is completely covered by optic radiation fibers going posteriorly to the occipital lobe. Okay. That becomes a technical issue that we will talk about from a surgical perspective. So if we are looking from above, anterior, posterior, medial, lateral, midbrain, anterior choroidal artery, temporal horn. Looking from above, midbrain, anterior, third nerve, posterior cerebral artery rises very high in the perihippocampal gyrus. So you cannot get to this area coming subtemporally. If you try to come here subtemporally It's so high up, you have to resect the bottom part of the whole temporal lobe to get to this point. Okay? So that is very important anatomic issue. All right, anterior, posterior. This is through a standard lateral middle temporal gyrus approach. Hippocampus, choroid plexus. Okay? So, how do we enter the temporal horn not through lateral? This is from above view, anterior, posterior, temporal lobe. This is the sylvian fissure. Okay? So the classic Yashigal approach is to open up here at the anterior limiting sulcus, which leads you right into the temporal horn. But the problem with this is the optic radiation fibers that covering this area as well. So if you look, this is the optic radiation, narrow genital valley. If you come through here, you are cutting through the optic radiation fiber. But there is a space here. If you come through here, you can enter the temporal horn without cutting the optic radiation fibers. The space would mean you'd have to go through the amygdala into the temporal horn. But amygdala is part of the surgery. You remove the amygdala, right? So let me show you a case. This patient has this tumor here of the amygdala and the hippocampus. Okay? Young patient, right there. This is the diffusion tensor imaging. We look at the relationship of the tumor to the optic radiation via this technology. So we're coming in from the right side. Through the sylvian fissure. Right mesial temporal lobe, frontal lobe, optic nerve. Okay? So we're coming in here. Carotid artery, third nerve, edge of the tentorium. Carotid artery, MCA, ACA. Uncus. See, the Yashigal approach would be up here to open here to enter the temporal horn. What I'm showing you, we're entering here so that the optic radiation, we are medial to that. So I'm going to enter right here at the level of the amygdala. You see, I'm opening right there. That's all tumor. Okay? The whole amygdala hippocampus head, we're removing. Okay? All tumor. PCA. You're seeing that through the PIA. Okay? That's PCA. That's the limit. This is what we would call a selective amygdala hippocampectomy. Okay? Complete resection of the amygdala and the head of the hippocampus without going through the optic radiation. Okay. Professor, it's 12:45. I thought if we have some time, because probably there are a lot of questions. Yeah.
I have some questions, please. Професор, запрошую до дискусії, до запитань, будь ласка.
Yes, sir.
Professor, thank you for the great presentation. I have a few questions. Would you mind talking about the use of ultrasound in this
Use of ultrasound.
ultrasound? Do you use that, or if you use Doppler geometry, it will be enough for you?
Yes. We always have ultrasounds. We use it all the time, the Doppler. But we're using the ICG, iodine green, for every case. We stopped doing the catheter angiography. That is such a big hassle during surgery. We used to do it all the time for these bypass cases. But with this IV iodine green that I showed you in the pictures, it's so easy and so quick that we no longer do catheter angiography for surgical cases. But the ultrasound is always we're using it as complementary all the time.
And how can you explain the difference in your results when you show bypass, backup anesthesia where you show a mortality 0 and mortality was over 7%.
7%. Yeah, the difference is this.
Different indications for the modern technology.
I think, yeah, the mortality is related to occlusion of the carotid during general anesthesia, but everything is not okay, and the patient will get a massive stroke and swelling. But now we do every occlusion of the carotid, testing it for 10 minutes with the awake. That is the difference in the mortality. Because there were always cases in general anesthesia, we thought everything is okay, we occluded the carotid, the patient has MCA, big stroke. And that can lead to mortality. So the difference in mortality comes from that one step, is knowing the outcome before you leave the surgery. And knowing it's reversible if there is a problem. So that's, I believe, where the delta is.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Yes.
Thank you very much for this presentation. Please express a general approach to quality assurance, especially when you're using it for neurochirurgy and functional surgery for cerebrovascular surgery. Is this the key for assessing quality in your surgical operation from perspective of your research?
Quality assurance, you mean for the department itself?
Yes, exactly. Exactly how you manage quality assurance, making how it is ready for people operating and the level of quality.
Right. So, you know, the biggest issue for us in neurosurgery now in the future is outcome of the patients. The outcome of the patients is the biggest single indicator for all of us that will be in the future. You know, and it's going to affect how we practice. You know, what's happening in the United States and what's happening around the world is the outcome of the surgeons is becoming public information. So if you look at the state of New York in the United States, about 7 years ago, they were concerned that in some patients who were having coronary artery bypass surgery, CABG, in some hospitals were having mortality higher than other hospitals. They said, okay, the state of New York, the government, went in all these hospitals to look at what's going on. And they found out that there was a direct relationship between surgeon volume, hospital volume, so high volume surgeon at the high volume institution versus a low volume surgeon, low volume institution, there was a huge difference in mortality for coronary artery bypass surgery. What that ultimately led to is a lot of these low volume surgeons who were having higher mortality with coronary artery bypass cath left the state of New York. 3 of them stopped practicing. In the state of New York, then publicly now puts the data for mortality of a heart surgeon, mortality rate of every heart surgeon on the internet. So if you're a patient, you have a family member who needs a CABG in New York, you could look up the hospital and the doctor what their mortality is for coronary bypass surgery. I'm afraid to tell you that this will become an issue in neurosurgery in the future. We will be looked at by data points for the various procedures we do, what our outcomes are. And someday patients will know that. So we have to be smart so we can control our own quality ourselves before governments start telling us what you can or cannot do. The way we manage this issue in our department, obviously we believe in subspecialty care because of these numbers reflect that. And we have all the variables we look at of these outcome variables per surgeon. And we have morbidity, mortality conferences. Every complication in the department, morbidity or mortality, will be discussed with the whole group. And we will present this and we'll have a discussion. What went wrong and how we could have done something different. This is a standard part of surgical departments in the United States, in academic centers. It is not a punitive thing. It's not like saying, well, why did you do this? It's more of an educational thing, so everybody can understand what went wrong, what could have been done differently. I think this is very important in groups to have transparency about these kind of issues, so we can all get better from them. The future of healthcare around the world will also be linked to financial compensation. Outcome will be linked to financial compensation. So what will happen is that if there will be different systems, but there are systems that if you had a complication, they will not pay you. They will only pay you if you had accepted outcome. If you had an outcome that's outside the accepted norm, then the surgeon will not get paid. So these systems are going to change the way we practice. And I think it's important for us to be ahead of this, to do the right things, so that our systems are in place to be ready for the healthcare of the 21st century. So this is the future directions about outcomes that we're going to be facing in the future. Please.
Professor Antorel, thank you very much for sharing your valuable experience. Your presentation exceeds our expectations. I have some questions. My first question is about what is the rate graft thrombosis after high-flow bypass surgery?
What is the rate?
Yeah. Thrombosis.
So what happens with certain patients, a graft will thrombose 6 months or a year later without any symptoms. Those patients have such good collateral flow that if the flow slows down in the graft, because the collateral flow is so good, the minute a flow slows down in a graft, it will thrombose. That's very different than acute thrombosis that can happen during surgery or the first few hours because of a complication. If that happens, there'll be a disaster. There will be a massive stroke in the patient. So you will never have, you rarely will have, if you do enough cases, if you look at long-term grafts, at 5 or 10 years, not just like we were looking at 3 months or 6 months. 5 years, I think you will have about 20% thrombosis in the long run. Asymptomatic. Asymptomatic completely. Because those patients, their collaterals are so good that as flow slows down intermittently in those grafts, they won't thrombose. As long as it's asymptomatic, there's nothing you need to do, because they just have their collateral. Now, if a patient thromboses their graft because they stop their aspirin and acutely becomes symptomatic, then that's a big problem. They're on aspirin the rest of their life. Yes. We use 325 milligrams, which is a standard dose per day. Yeah, 325. Yeah, but anything in that range. I don't know what does aspirin come in here and what dose format? 400 or 500? I don't know how it works here, but whatever the standard reasonable dose is will be fine. Yeah.
Thank you. My second question is, how many cases do you have of AMAX and NCA bypass?
Yeah. So we have done close to now 65 cases of this AMAX too. Yeah.
Did you use in this technique, Alana technique, in this kind of bypass?
No, I've used the Alana technique for a few cases about 3 years ago, 3-4 years ago. I did not like it. We had some problems with it, so we don't use it anymore. We're not using it anymore. The problem with the Alana technique is that sometimes the flap gets retained inside. And that becomes a very, very big problem. So we have stopped using it actually.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's proceed.
One more.
Please.
Okay. Tell about the one, I want to talk about neurosurgery. If you talk even about non-dominant hemisphere, would you recommend to remove multiple houses, or as some other practitioners in the system recommend to avoid and to keep a facial part which lies after versus,
Yeah.
and to leave that part that's just,
I'm not, I'm not as experienced in this area. My feeling has always been to leave that posterior part in. Because as you go more posteriorly, we really are risking the visual, fibers coming in medially, that septal horn, very mesial part. So I think there's no.
Some indications. The first one, what are your major indications for performing the total vitrectomy?
Anterior vitrectomy.
Total.
Total vitrectomy. Okay. Yeah. So just so everybody's aware, the anterior vitrectomy is an approach we do to get to the ambient cistern, to the midbrain. The posterior vitrectomy for lesions that are lower down in the flyvis, big skull-based tumors on the flyvis. The total vitrectomy is a very big approach, which we call the transcochlear approach. For patients who have really large tumors in front of the brainstem that are going to be hard to access, but the patient has two things, which is very rare. One, they have no hearing, which a lot of them don't have hearing because the tumor already. Secondly, the total vitrectomy significantly risks the facial nerve. So if a patient already has facial weakness, then it's a great approach. If the facial nerve is totally intact, it's a big mistake because you're going to give them a significant facial weakness. So the only time, which is very rare, to have a patient who has both 7 and 8 nerve paresis, it's perfect. It's the biggest, most access you will ever get. So it's that unique set of patients that we would use a total vitrectomy. Very select patients.
Thank you. And following the lead of Dr. Fish, I would like to ask you, do you perform other types of intracranial bypasses with cerebral aneurysm except for IMOS?
Yes.
Other types, such
Yeah.
as ACA to ACA,
Yes.
ACA to MCA, and
Right. We do, depending, every situation is different. So we do a number of these intracranial to intracranial bypasses. We've done essentially every vessel you can think about. It just depends on what type of aneurysm, what's the configuration, what do you need to. It's kind of, you think of what's right for that patient. Yes, I believe intracranial with a graft or side to side or many other ways, to reconfigure this.
that's in combination.
In combination. That's right.
And the third question and the last, do you have an algorithm how to deal with anastomosis, with acute thrombosis, intraoperative thrombosis, or the anastomosis? Have you experienced that?
Yes, I have.
And what's the algorithm?
Yeah. So there are a number of things that can go wrong in this procedure. One of them is the graft is not working. Okay. So obviously every situation is different, but if the graft is not working, you have to, now, we do a lot of ICG to look how the flow is. The parent vessels are okay. If the problem is that with the graft itself, it's most likely with one of the anastomosis, proximal or distal. Okay? So you need to see backflow in the graft. So you will make a very small arteriotomy in the middle of the graft. And you put 2 temporary clips, put an arteriotomy, an opening, then you take 1 temporary clip off and see the flow coming. If the flow is coming from the cranial side back this way, it means this anastomosis is okay. Put the clip back on. Now you open the other clip. No blood is coming. That means there's an anastomosis with your proximal problem, whether, let's say you did it in the neck or whatever. that has to be reopened. You have to reopen the anastomosis, cut the sutures out. There was either a stenosis or a stitch caught the back wall or something like that. That has to be corrected. And then you fix that. If the problem on the other side, you do the same thing. I use a lot of heparin in this situation and so forth. But the backflow is the way you figure out where the problem is. Okay? So that's how I would do that.
How many cases do you have draft?
I would say, I've had a good, I would say, 7 or 8 cases of about 170 or so when we had to redo something with the whole graft. It's a pretty reasonable number.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Professor, we need to do that picture of the group as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to announce. Професор запрошує зробити загальне фото, тому давайте порадимося, де на дворі будемо.
Може у ступі реакції
We are discussing whether to take a picture outside. Yeah, outside.